Hey, everybody. Welcome to Making Connections with your girl, Aly. That is me. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day wherever you are, whether you're listening in the morning, afternoon, evening. We welcome you to the show. So glad you could be with us. And I'm excited. You guys know I'm just going to say go to the page, all those flyers that you saw, they're on the Making Connections page because there's all kinds of good stuff going on in the community. People are, there's the fresh market that happens every Tuesday. There's karaoke. If you need your car detailed, there's all kinds of stuff. People helping the homeless, people getting supplies for school, going back to school, all kinds of things. So if you need help or you want to help, there's an opportunity. And so, hey, Keisha.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Oh my gosh, I'm wonderful. I was grooving to Time to Make a Connection.
Yes. And we have our good friend Marlene to thank for that because he always does our music and he does us right.
Yeah.
He knows the show and he knows what we're about. And so he hooks it up. So that's Polyphonic Studios. You can look them up.
I
And
will. It's a great intro.
thank you. So, how are you doing today? You look so pretty.
Thank you. I am doing fabulous. I am being fabulous. How are you being today?
I'm being great. I love to talk to Keisha because, I say stuff about myself that I don't usually say. And she reminds me, why are you not saying it when I'm not around? So, I want you guys, if you got laundry, if you got dishes, whatever, just leave it. It'll be there when you get back. Sit down, listen to this interview, get this good stuff, and then apply it to your life because it's good. And so, Keisha, in case this somebody hasn't seen you on the show before and doesn't know who you are, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, sure. I am Keisha Dixon. I am a single mother of 6, grandmother of 4, and 3 years ago, I leapt from my executive corporate position at a corporate law firm to become a transformational wealth coach. And I guide other female coaches to double or more their income doing what they love. And I can now say, I am a published author.
Woo-hoo.
Woo-hoo!
Yes. Awesome. So before we get into the book, because the book is called Intention, and
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be talking about the power of intention.
Awesome.
And gosh, just saying it, it's like something is happening. My body's heating up. But
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
excited about that. But, before we get into that, let's go back a little bit. Now,
Okay.
you were at a corporate law firm
Yes.
making good money,
I was making buku bucks.
and you left it.
I did. I left it. It's so interesting because leading up to my departure, for the previous year, a whole year, the job was great, blessing on paper, and I was really remarkable at it. And for a year, I felt like I was in a pressure pot of, I know there's something else that I'm supposed to be doing right now that I feel led to do. And I was so scared, Aly, to make that corporate leap from the security of the corporate paycheck. I was getting paid monthly, but it was, it was a high 6-figure job. And I was afraid to leave the safety and security of that. And it took me a year to get to the point where one morning I woke up and I knew in every cell of my being that I deserved happy. I didn't just think it. I knew it. Like I know my name is Keisha. I know my name is Keisha. Regardless of what anyone else calls me or happens to call me, I know that my name is Keisha. And that morning when I woke up, every cell in my being knew that I deserved to be happy. And in that moment, I left my job. I not only burned the bridge, I burned the boat. And I officially opened up my coaching practice. Leading up until then, I had coaching clients here and there, but it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't an income that could sustain my up until that point lifestyle.
Mhm.
but I took the leap. I took the leap. And about a week later, my coaching calendar was full. I
Wow.
created the space. I knew what I deserved. I knew what I deserved, and everything fell into place.
Oh, wow. That
Yeah.
is so amazing. And I know there are listeners out there who are like me, like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling that too. I'm feeling that struggle. I mean, I'm in a good place. I know how to do my job, but it's just, I mean, I don't feel like I'm really helping anybody. I don't feel like I'm really making an impact. Oh my gosh. And I know what you're saying is resonating with them. And so, what would be some steps though, even if they feel like they're ready to go now? I know you jumped into it. What would you suggest for somebody else that's having that feeling though?
Well, first, just know that, and I'm going to borrow a phrase I heard this weekend. Just know when you're feeling that, oh, there's a struggle, or feeling that fear, that you're behind enemy lines at that point. And the enemy line is not the job. The enemy line is internal,
Mm,
right? Because as I heard you just say, but I don't feel like I'm making an impact. You're making an impact. Your presence makes an impact, whether you're in corporate or on your podcast or on another platform. Your very presence makes an impact. So you
mm,
want to come out from behind the enemy line of less than, I'm not making an impact in this case, and come out in front on that battlefield like, oh no, I am making an impact. And what would feel even better than this? Where else do I want to make an impact? Who else do I want to impact? So it's recognizing who you are, who you be, right? In any circumstance, because external circumstances can never dictate who you are, your beingness.
mhm,
Expressing gratitude for who you are in that beingness, and feeling into, and what would feel even better than this?
mm.
What, yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Okay, okay. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be just so good, y'all. I'm just like, I'm be on replay myself about 3 or 4 times. I can already tell. So you became a transformational wealth coach.
Yes.
So what does I mean? I hear those words and I understand those words, but what does that really mean?
Yeah, for me, right now in this moment, it means I guide women to go from $50,000 years to $50,000 months, doing what they love without doing all of the things, by simply being themselves and tapping into their genius. My program is called Monetize Your Mind. So, and by mind, I don't just mean the brain, but I mean your heart. Like, ooh, just connecting the two and tapping into the genius that is within you and monetizing on that in a way that doesn't have to involve funnels and complications and making it hard. But having the means to receive the amount of money that you desire in order to live the life that you crave. So that's what I mean by transformational wealth coach. I got into that because, and you find this with a lot of coaches, but I'll speak for me. I got into that because, as I said earlier, I was making high six figures in my corporate job, and I constantly struggled with, I had so much money drama. It was, well,
Yeah.
not to be too judgmental, it was crazy. And I knew, being a personal development junkie, I knew that something else was going on. And it was like my blind spot. I couldn't see it because I was really experiencing monetary struggles, even with this high corporate paycheck. And interestingly enough, while I was struggling to make ends meet for myself, pay my own bills, I had gone into pre-foreclosure mode on more than one occasion. I was also paying other people's bills. I paid
Hmm.
somebody's rent for an entire year while I was in pre-foreclosure.
Oh wow.
I was funding other people's vacations, even though I was working like 60, 70 hours a week, always online or in person at the office. Um, and I hadn't taken a vacation of my own, and I was sending people on cruise ships. My boundaries were non-existent. I
Mm,
couldn't even think of holding a boundary. I couldn't think of
Mm-hmm.
setting a boundary, let alone holding a boundary. So I sought the assistance of a wealth therapist, and it was through that work, working with her, that I was like, oh, I need, not only do I want to, I desire to show this to other people, because I know that um, I knew I couldn't have been alone. I wasn't alone in this. Even though while I was struggling, it felt like I was very much alone.
Right. And amen. I know
Hmm.
somebody else is saying, "Oh yeah, I do that too. Why do I
Yeah,
do that?" And sometimes even in the middle of it, you're like, "Why am I? What's going on here?"
yeah,
But you just, it's like you can't pull that string back. It's like you don't. And I think sometimes too, we're afraid that what if I try to pull it and it breaks?
right.
I
What if,
don't
right? Because I talk about um, the lack matrix and the abundance matrix a lot. And a lot of our programming, which in our conditioning, which happens from the time we leave the birth canal and we enter this lack matrix, is to take away, to take away, to take away, that there's never enough. It's all about toil and trouble and struggle, and money doesn't grow on trees. And it's breaking that, those paradigms, some people would call them generational curses, breaking those paradigms, those patterns, those generational curses, that actually frees us and liberates us and allows us to really have our eyes open and see abundance is all around us. And we're manifesting all the time. We're either manifesting consciously or unconsciously. But abundance is all around us. And when your eyes are open, all of a sudden it's a miracle. Everything starts to become a miracle, and what you see presented before you in your 3D reality suddenly becomes miraculous.
know.
Yeah,
I am just excited about this because I just feel like that once when people are hearing this information, they're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know how to put it in words. I really didn't know what was happening. I didn't know. I couldn't understand." But like you said, it's those paradigms, and even the fact that we have talked before that when you come from a family and you haven't really seen a lot of multimillionaires,
right.
not even a lot of business owners. I mean, we have really smart people that we have in our families, but you just don't see them go out of the norm. You see them excel in that job within that restraints that they're given by their bosses. But there's still a cap on who they are and who they can be. And when you're sitting on the front porch talking to them, you're like, well, why don't you create that? Why don't you start this business? You know what I'm saying? But we
Yes.
never do. And so we just can continue to follow that pattern because who are we to break the pattern, to shift that paradigm?
It's so interesting because a few minutes ago I had said, yeah, from the moment we leave the birth canal, we've entered this lack matrix. That's because our nervous system is picking up on our parents, what's going on with their money stories, right? And we're picking up on it energetically. And so when we first come out of the birth canal, we really only have two questions: am I safe? And do I belong with this family?
Mm.
And one way that we adapt, because nobody asked for this programming, one way that we adapt and answer the question of do I belong in this family is we take on their money stories. Now, if we're doing this from a tender age of, let's say, 3 or 4 years old, it just feels normal. It doesn't feel, the struggle feels normal. And even though it might be incredibly uncomfortable, it brings us the comfort of, well, at least I belong. I
Mm.
know this story. I know how this story plays out. I've seen it, and I've been told this story time and time and time again. I know what to expect. And our ego and our subconscious mind loves to know what to expect.
Right.
Right.
And that I can't remember how that phrase went. I just heard it recently. Somebody said, but basically it's saying, if of the two choices you have, choose the one at least you know. You know what's going to happen. You know how this person is going to treat you. If you try to branch out into a new group of friends, you don't know them yet. You don't know what's going to happen, but this person might be a little inconsistent, but at least 30% of the time they'll show up for you. But is that enough, y'all? Is that enough?
Right. And that's the curiosity and wonder. Is that enough? As you were talking, I can guarantee you that there were people nodding along in agreement, like, yep, yep, who wants to jump out of the frying pan and into the fire? And the reason that we nod in agreement is it's our subconscious mind. And I try to be I still do it. And I try to be very aware of what I allow my body to come into agreement to. Even that nodding is
Mm.
a level of agreement. Our subconscious mind takes everything personally. So when we hear this,
Oh.
when we hear someone saying, um, even if it's in the next room, or in our sleep, when we hear someone saying, you don't want to jump out of the frying pan and into the fire, our subconscious is like, yep, yep, nope, this, we're going to limit you right here. Stay exactly where you are. My prime directive is to keep you alive. So yes,
Mm.
come into agreement with this. And that's why I choose to be very intentional with my
Right.
language, which is not to say that I don't fall into old habits, but as soon as I notice it, I'm like, "Oh, what, how can I rephrase that? What am I, world, what reality do I choose to create with my worlds?"
Wow. And you do that, and it always, I always tell you, oh wow, that's you said the same thing I said, but you said it like that, or you said what I intended to say, but this, and so I think it's so important that we do. We have to be careful what we say. Um, like you said, even when you're around a group of people, and you may not feel the same way they do, but you're in that group and they're saying what they're saying, it's still getting in your spirit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
especially if you're not speaking against it, saying, well, I don't agree with that.
Yes, and for people who are, I'm an introvert, and I used to identify as shy. I don't identify as shy anymore. But when I identified as shy, and I was in groups of people, and I had this knowing that, oh, I don't want to come into agreement with what they're saying. There are ways that you can just like, oh, is that really true internally? You don't even have to say it out loud. You don't
Mm.
have to be weird about it. or
Thank
even
you.
or even confrontational, but I just make a mental note like, yeah, I'm not receiving that. That's not for me.
Oh, wow. See?
Hmm.
I mean, there's so many. I mean, Keisha is amazing. She
Thank
knows
you.
so many things to, be able to keep yourself protected because right now, say you're in still on that job and there's a lot of things happening that you don't want to receive. There are so many tips that she can give, so many ways that she can guide you that you can still stay above that. And so, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you're listening to this and you need some help, you need to reach out to Keisha, have a consultation, just sit down and have a conversation because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and like Keisha brought somebody else to me one time, Alexis.
Alexis
They were
Spears,
talking
yes.
about the trauma that you hold in your body. And I was just like, I was all over the place. And I was like, yeah, yeah. Because you don't realize this is why we need to know things. This is why we need to break out of our shell. This is why we need to, you know, you 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 have to listen to different things, and you don't have to agree with everything. But it's good to be able to have different options because you don't realize you're holding trauma. Um, we were doing something. I can't even remember what it was, and the person said, "Make sure you're breathing." And I was like, I didn't even realize I was holding my breath during
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
So, can you talk a little bit about that and the intention of why we need to, be aware?
Yeah. Yeah. So you just talked about, oh, we're holding trauma. A lot of times people think of trauma as big T trauma, and it can be a little T trauma. It can be as simple as being reprimanded in front of your classmates and that particular situation you were called upon, your body took it on as a trauma, and now it presents itself as holding your breath whenever you feel like, oh, they're going to call on me, making your making yourself smaller, feeling like you can't approach somebody, or if you're at the boardroom, you can't speak up and call attention to yourself. That's a trauma response to something that occurred early on in childhood. So once you're aware of, and for me, I am very aware of what's happening in my body. Once you're aware, oh, I'm feeling a tightness in my jaw, or oh, my breathing is very shallow.
Right.
Focus your attention on it. And I ask this very strange question of my clients when they say they have a backache or their jaw's tight or they have a migraine. Well, what would your back be saying right now if it could speak? And whatever comes out is exactly what your back is saying, even if it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. And with that information, you're actually able to alleviate the sensations that you're feeling because message received. The back no longer needs to signal out, I don't feel supported. I'm never supported. Why me? This always happens to me. I've received the message. Then you get to do things like clear that message and reframe that message and open your eyes to a new possibility.
Hmm. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
And this even goes back to the show on Monday where we were talking about being intentional about, what you put in your body, and what you put on your body, and it being as pure as it can be. You know what I'm saying? We're still
Yeah.
going through a process, but when you have those headaches, when you have, everybody might have a bad day, a rough day where you just take it to bed with you, you can't sleep really well. But if you're having days, weeks where you're not sleeping well, is something more that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I mean, if you're having weeks or days where you're not sleeping well, what needs to be addressed is your peace, right? Because it's
Mhm.
not really about the sleep, it's about your
Right,
peace.
right, right. And so, gosh, we're just creating new people. I feel like we're breaking all these molds. You don't have to eat the same thing your family is eating for the past 20 years.
Right.
You don't have to go on vacation the same place. I mean, come on. It's about you, and it's about how you were created and what you have to offer. Maybe if you don't go to the beach, but you go to the mountains and it's really quiet and you sit there, all of a sudden your creativity flows. Maybe for
Hmm.
somebody else, they're at the water and being in the water and feeling that flow already helps their creativity flow. So we really have to tap into what we have to be intentional
Yes.
about what makes us, what's the word I should end with, whole or or motivated or what?
I feel like we're already whole, whether we recognize it or not. I feel like the word to tap into is intentional. I feel intention, right? Because whether we're going through our days intentionally or unintentionally, we're still manifesting based on our intentional focus or our unconscious unintentional focus. So for me, intention or being intentional means that the intention that I set for the day is my focused and guiding principle for the day of how I want to live, how I want to feel, how I want to be, and how I choose to be internally. That influences my external circumstances.
And I was just thinking too about with the transformational wealth coach, you know, waking up that day and saying, I am going to intentionally seek out 5 clients, 5 new
Hmm.
clients.
Hmm.
I'm going to intentionally speak to 20 people today because I know I need $10,000, you know, in my budget today. And so Yeah, let's continue to talk about the power of intention and how it
Hmm.
really affects and changes the outcome of everything that's in your life.
Yeah, so the intention that you set is the guiding. For me, it's the guiding principle of the day, right? It's that foundation. It's the springboard that creates the blueprint for my actions to be in alignment with what I intend to be in any given moment. So, what I heard was an intention and a goal. I intend to onboard 5 new clients today. There's a very specific number. That's the goal, and the intention in that case is to be open to receive new clients,
Mhm.
right? From that, okay, as I go throughout my day, what's my energy like? Am I open or am I closed?
Mhm.
Am I showing up for myself or am I shrinking? Right? And by showing up for yourself doesn't mean you have to post 50 times a day, right? Or show up on 100 podcasts within a month.
Right.
Where are my thoughts? My intention is open to receive and onboard new clients. Where are my thoughts going? Am I worried about how I'm going to pay the rent in 10 days? Or am I confident that all of my needs will be met? You see how even my body language,
Yeah.
and that's not even, that honestly, that wasn't conscious because our subconscious is running all the time. But when I said those words, it quickened my spirit and it brought life to my body. Um, let's see. Did I answer the question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because right, because a lot of times, and I'm just gonna, y'all, I'm always talking about myself, nobody else. Sometimes I will wake up and I'll be like, okay, I am going to talk to 10 people today. I'm going to present the opportunity to 10 people. And I'll be in the store, and this person might come by, and I'll be like, oh, and I'll hear, like you said, overhear a little conversation, overhear a couple words that gets my attention. Whereas, 20 other people pass me by and I didn't even notice. And I'll be prompted, but then that fear is like, whew, what
Mm-hmm.
if they say no? Well, mm,
Okay.
I said 10
So,
people, but she's not one of them.
okay. So the 10 people, talking to 10 people is a goal. What's the intention behind that? How do you want to, how do you, what do you, the 10 people is the outcome. What are you looking for in feeling and being to get to that outcome?
Okay,
Let's
so
start
I'm,
there.
I'm talking to 10 people so that I can get 5 clients.
Okay, and again, the get the 5 clients, that's the outcome. That again is an outcome. Why? I'm going to
Um,
ask you why.
okay, to increase my monthly income, to increase what I receive in my household for this week.
That's the intention.
Okay.
I intend to increase my amount of something along these lines. Certainly use your own words. I intend to increase my receiving this week.
Mm,
Now, from that intention, your aligned action is, which means I'm going to open up my mouth and say something to 10 people, which means based on my conversion rate, I'm going to sign on 5 new clients. I intend to receive more money in my household this week is the North Compass. That's your that's your guiding principle for the day.
okay.
When it's your goal to talk to 10 people and your goal to sign up 5 clients in the day or in the week.
Okay.
So when that fear comes, because being courageous doesn't mean that the fear doesn't exist. Being courageous means the fear does exist. So when that fear, so when that fear comes, when you're in the grocery store and you see a woman who um, is about to pay for her groceries and you're too afraid to talk to her, that's when you get to stop, observe without judgment, say something like, "That's interesting. I intend to increase the amount of income in my household, and I'm observing that I'm afraid to do so." Now you have a choice. Now rather than it being an unconscious event that just slips by, and the fear has won because you were behind enemy lines, internal enemy lines, because I'm sure the woman at the grocery store is not going to attack you.
Right.
So the enemy lines were literally inside. You've made a decision, right?
Okay.
If you let that opportunity go by, you've made a decision. And my intention is not going to guide me right now. Or you can decide to open up your mouth and say something and allow your intention to be that guiding principle for the day.
And it's so funny because really, even in saying I need to speak with 10 people to get 5 clients, I already know that there's a possibility that 5 are going to say no. But just actually hearing it is like, you know what I mean?
And I do know what you mean. And there is a possibility that 10 will say yes. And there's a possibility that 10 will give me referrals to 10 more who say yes. All of these are beliefs. I mean, and we form our own beliefs, our own limitations all the time. It just feels so normal and so natural, especially on the online world. Because I work with a lot of coaches, there's a belief that in order to onboard high-end clients, for your high-ticket offer, you need to have a 40-minute discovery call or whatever people call it. And it's a belief. And the moment you change your belief, you can have something different. You can do it through DM, or people can just come to you in your email like, I heard you on this podcast and I have to work with you, Keisha. That's a belief too.
Right.
And our beliefs, the limitations that we put on ourselves, they're only going to be as true as how much we believe them.
Mm. Okay, so what I hear is that I need to concentrate on my intention. What was my intention? What did I set my intention to be that day? Not even on the conversation, not even on who the person is, what they look like, what I think their potential is. I just have to stick to my intention for the day.
That when you stick to your intention, and when you're in integrity with your intention, and you have permission to change your mind on your intention from moment to moment, because we all have free will, everything else is just the natural outcome of the intention that you set. You're going to find yourself in alignment or in misalignment to what you intend.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
The power of intention.
That's the power of intention.
Oh my
That's the power
goodness.
of intention. And it's interesting because it may not always unfold the way you've mapped it out in your mind, but it always unfolds usually, always, I would say, for the better than what you could have ever imagined.
Mm.
But you have to start somewhere.
Right, because like you said, 10 of them could say yes.
Of course.
And so now you've doubled your income for the week.
Ta-da.
And how happy and how much peace and how much joy will you have and how much better will you be able to sleep, you know?
So, and now you're talking about even more. Now we got a deeper intention. I intend peace today.
Mm.
Okay, so peace, based on this conversation, is taking into consideration, which means I'm open to receive, and I am receiving more income in my household because I intend peace. Peace also calibrates and brings in, even if fear comes up, I intend peace, then I open my mouth anyway. So the intention is I am peace. That's another intention that rolls all of that stuff up into your day.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, yes. And so I know you have written a book.
Yes.
Yay!
It's a guided journal called
Yeah.
Intention. It should be, it's on pre-order right now. It should be released on Amazon, I believe, as early as next week. Well, as early as next week. So
Yeah.
it's Intention, Command Your Day, 90 Days of Abundance and Manifestation.
Listen, y'all, just hearing what we've heard already, we know that God has called her to this, to guide us, to help us along the way. I'm saying, whatever you have to do, get this book so you can be guided. I mean, I'm just saying, everybody needs a little Keisha in their life some kind of way. Whether you're going to work with her one on one, whether
Thank you,
you're going to
Aly.
get the book and, take the principles that she's added there. So, what kind of things can we expect from the journal when we're going through?
Oh my gosh, expect miracles. The journal it's a practice that I've been doing. Well, I've been a journaler all of my life, but not always consistently. And after my son Chase transitioned in January 2020, I I'll share the whole story. After my son Chase transitioned in 2020, it was so unexpected, and of course I was grieving. And I had already been a coach, and I like everything that I'm saying. I truly believe, like I've embodied this. And as I was waking up the following morning after receiving the news, it was like I could hear the day speaking to me before I opened my eyes, and it was saying, "Oh, this isn't going to be good. This isn't going to be a good day." So I was grieving, and my spirit was very troubled. This happened again the next day. Oh, this isn't going to be good. This isn't going to be good at all. And again, I'm like getting even more irritated as I'm grieving. On the third day, oh, I just said that. I'm like, oh, that's the power of resurrection. On the third day, as I was waking up and I started to hear the words, I whispered, "No, I command my day. My day does not command me." I opened my eyes. I said it a little louder. I command my day. My day does not command me. By the time I got in my shower, I was screaming it. I command my day. My day does not command me. And then I started doubling down on my journaling practice. And that is what this book is. And so what we do in the book is we start our day with our intention and we write it down. And I say these are the words that I say out loud. So I put them in the book, and I mean every ounce of these words as I take my rightful place right here with the authority to command my day. My intention for this day right here and now is, then I speak my intention out loud and I write it down. And that's how the journaling prompt begins. And then we go into affirmations, we go into goals and what we're going to ask for and receive. And then we go into what I believe really is the miraculous portion of this journaling, and that is imagine that. We start free writing on imagine what this day will bring. Imagine what unfolds, and you really allow yourself to go there and feel it, even if it doesn't seem realistic to your circumstances. By doing this practice, you will see miracles unfold. I was recently talking to Clara in our group, $100,000 minute group. I was talking to her and I was like, yeah, I just finished another 90 days of this journaling. And out of my imagine that's 55 things I've walked out. I've seen manifest. Oh, wow. 55 out of the 90. And I'm in full expectation that all 90 will appear or something better. And so I just go through every 90 days, I go through and run my checklist. That's how it really, I mean, I know it sounds very simple, and it really is as simple as that.
But it's amazing because how many days do we not go back and check, the things that we said we were going to do or that was going to happen, and we don't even realize it happened. And so one of the things, you had to help me with was celebrate every win.
Yes.
I wasn't celebrating. I wasn't thinking about the win. I only thought about that. I only talked to 5 people. I didn't talk to 10. So I didn't get, you know what I'm saying? So I never celebrated the fact that today you talked to 5, whereas, the past 10 days you talked to 0. So celebrate that win. So
Absolutely. Celebrating the wins is wildly, wildly important. A lot of times, I'll speak for me. Um, there have been situations in my past, specifically, I'll be very specific. When I first started coaching, um, my belief was I was going to get to the point where I was making as much or more money than I was making in my corporate job. And my belief was, and it'll be a good goal to just start with $10,000 a month. So I kept asking for, let me get $10,000 a month, $10,000 a month. This went on for months, and I wasn't keeping track on how much I was earning.
Mm,
And when I went back and memorialized, and this went on for months, so maybe month 5, I went back and memorialized, where am I? I had already made over 10,000 a month, and I was still asking for the same thing. And it's like God or the universe or source or however you refer to the
mhm.
divine was like, you keep asking for something you've already gotten. And so, do you want less? What do you want?
Right, right. And now I'm
I,
giving you more. You want me to take it back a step?
I wasn't right. I wasn't memorializing
Mm,
where I had been. So now I my intention is to celebrate everything, and I'm still getting to that mark, and to memorialize everything. When it happens, I'm writing it down.
uh, great. Yeah, because sometimes you won't remember, you know, and so you
Right.
go back and you got this journal and you're like, oh yeah. Now,
Yeah.
if it happened there, you know what? I can do it again. You know.
Yeah. And more than not remember, you not remember, it's also you're not sitting in an attitude of or an energy of gratitude. How could you be if you don't even know? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're creating suffering where there isn't suffering.
And that the intention of gratitude is a whole nother subject. I
Yes.
mean, when you're grateful for where you are, for what you come, you know, because definitely getting all of Keisha's group, the hundred, it's 100.
$100,000 a minute group with Keisha Dixon.
I mean, because we do that. She'll have those prompts, you know, stop right now. What are you grateful for? And you know, there have been times where I put, I'm grateful that I can feel pain,
Mm,
because there was a time where I knew I was having pain, but I was just lethargic to it. I knew it was coming. I felt like that was my right. That was how I was supposed to feel. But
you're
now
the
I'm like,
affect.
I'm grateful that I realize that I'm feeling pain, but I've overcome it. You know what I'm saying? It's not I'm not sitting in it where I would before. I mean, I'm telling you, just things being acknowledged
Mm-hmm.
will be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like, I'm grateful that I'm feeling. If you've been in a situation where, for whatever reason, you've come out of your body or disassociated from your body, or you're having affect, like it doesn't feel like you can give yourself permission to feel, having feelings and sensations flood in
Hmm.
is a miracle. It
It
means you're
is.
present. I'm grateful for being present. I'm grateful for feeling. I'm grateful for being able to express how I feel.
Hmm. See, y'all, doesn't that sound amazing? That don't you just want to be so much lighter? Don't you want to be able to breathe through your day
Mm,
and not realize that at the end of the day, most of the time you just held your breath, you didn't
right,
breathe, you didn't
right.
experience, you didn't. I mean, I noticed that I didn't even laugh that much, and I love to laugh. I love to cut up and just. I mean, it could be something crazy. And I mean, I could be watching TV, you know, one of my favorite comedians or something, and it didn't make me laugh anymore. I've been to that point, y'all, and I know I'm not the only person.
Right.
But I want you to laugh. I want you to experience life, even if it doesn't go exactly the way you plan. It's okay. It doesn't mean anything. Like Keisha was saying, you know, your purpose and your intention, who you are, you can be um, even a homeless person, whatever intention they came here with, that intention is still there.
Yeah.
Am I correct, Keisha? I mean, they're
Yeah.
not operating in it, but it's still there.
Yeah. It's similar to Viktor Frankl. What the name of his book? I can't recall the in the moment. I can't recall the name of his book. I think it's The Meaning of Life. He was in a concentration camp and still found freedom and liberation internally.
Mm.
We always get to choose our internal landscape, and we always get to choose our response to any external circumstance. Um, and our choices, our internal choices, greatly influence what's happening external to us. So,
Mm.
yes, we are the keys to our liberation, we are the keys to our freedom. And irregardless of what it looks like right now, how you choose to be here and now is determining your future. And it's also determining the experience that you allow yourself or give yourself permission to experience in this very moment.
Mm. Listen, I'm just excited. I don't know how to put it into words, but I just can see so much goodness. I know we see COVID, we see death, we see these announcements, we see all kinds of stuff happening, but we really can make a difference. Like Keisha said, the neighborhood you live in, the family you're in, the job you're on, get that victory on the inside. I have a friend who is married, and her and her husband were going through some things, and I was like, and she's like, "Well, I'm not the one that has the problem. Why should I go to counseling?" I said, "But you have to be at peace with whatever's happening. That person may not ever change. So do you have to be in turmoil and conflict all the time as well?" And I said, "You shouldn't be." And I said, "I'm not saying what that looks like. I'm not saying whether you leave, you stay, but wherever you are, you need to be at peace."
Right. It doesn't have to be either or, black or white. It can be this world of heaven on earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
um, it's my friend Shana says, and both. You can have, you get to have an experience for yourself that is for your highest good and the highest good of others. We don't have to choose war. We can choose war. That's our choice. We have free will, but we don't have to choose war.
Wow. Good, good, good.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a quick break, Keisha.
Okay.
And when we come back, I definitely want you to, if there's anything we haven't covered that you definitely want the listeners to know, jump right in there.
Okay.
Make sure you tell them how they can follow you, where to get your book, anything that you want to, leave with our family. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Be right back.
Thank you for being such a wonderful listening audience, whether you were listening live or on the replay. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, Making Connections with Aly and Shay, so that you can get notified every time we go live. Do you have a burning message to share with the audience? Contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com with your topic idea and your message to be booked on the show. And if you're an inspirational speaker or a motivator or simply seeking a platform to share your message, contact Miss Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime right here on the Making Connections Network. Again, contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime, your own radio show right here on the Making Connections Network.
Hey, hey, everybody. Welcome back to Making Connections with Aly. That would be me. And we have been talking to Miss Keisha Dixon. She is the transformational wealth coach. She is a published author now. She has some great things going on. If you are just joining the show, we're about to end, but let me tell you, I suggest you go back and hit the replay. Start from the beginning. Make sure you don't miss anything. And so, as the little commercial said, I just get so excited. As the commercial said, we are making connections. We're here every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Saturday at 12 noon. Go to Facebook. We have Instagram and we're on YouTube, but we pretty much deal out of Facebook. Go to Facebook, turn on the notifications so you know when we go live. If you're somebody and you need a platform, maybe you're not ready to just jump out there altogether, to start a show. You want to get your feet wet. We're here for you. We have guest expert slots where you can come on once a month. Get in the flow, know how it goes. Get your guests all lined up. Anyway, we have plenty of options. If you want to know more, give us a call 980-389-6826, or you can email us at info@aliciajohnson.com. And we're going to get back to Miss Keisha. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you for everything that you've done for me because, you know, sometimes, even before the show is going, because there's so many things going on, but I really used to be stressed out. I mean, like stressed. I wasn't breathing, I wasn't sleeping. I'm still on my journey. I still have some things to deal with and work through, but I'm grateful for the intention that you brought to my life, to
Mm.
know that I am worthy, know that I can breathe, know that I can excel, that I can be a six-figure income earner or seven-figure if that's what I
Hello.
desire, you know. And so I appreciate it, and I don't say that lightly. I'm being honest about who she is and how she walks in integrity when she does work with her clients. So if you're looking for somebody to work with, I suggest Miss Keisha Dixon.
Thank you so much, Allie. That made me stand at attention. Thank you. I absolutely received those words and I'm humbled by them. And I am so grateful for you and for your platform and for your audience in my life. I thank you also. One of the things that I had shared is how important imagination is. And I didn't really go into detail about that. I wanted to wrap up with
Mhm.
that. Our imagination really is our superpower. And it is something that this lack matrix attempts to squash from the time we're children. Stop
Mhm.
daydreaming, pay attention, focus on all of these man made rules and regulations based in lack. When we can tap into this superpower technology that all human beings have, we're born with it, we can actually co create our reality. And it doesn't have to look like anyone else's reality, but it
Right.
gets to be the reality that's absolutely brilliant for us. And when we're not tapping into our imagination and our creativity, well, we're when we're not consciously, I should say, tapping into our imagination and our creativity, it's still running over under the surface, but it's showing up unconsciously as worry, stress, and anxiety.
Mm.
When you're not being conscious about creating your world through using your imagination, which is seated by your desires, then you're creating into your life and manifesting into your life worry, stress, and anxiety. So, this superpower that we've all been given as humans, our imagination, is running all the time. Tapping into it consciously is what gets us to the reality that we really choose to experience, that we really want, and I don't want to use the word want, the the reality that we desire and crave to experience.
Mhm. Wow.
Mhm.
Yes, I feel that craving, it's strong. and
Mhm.
and I think too, because we haven't had these conversations, people are like, what's going on? I mean, I don't even know why I want that. I don't want to fly a plane. Why would I want to fly a plane? I mean, I've never even been in a plane. Why would I want to think I want to be a pilot? So I say, be intentional about the things that are happening in your body now, the things,
Yeah.
the thoughts that come to you, whether you need to captivate them and silence them, or whether you need to let them take the lid off and let them free.
What is the scripture? Cast down those vain imaginations. That's the vain imaginations, as far as I'm concerned, are the worry, the stress, and the anxiety, and the feeling that me being created by the creator to create can possibly be limited by something.
Mhm. My.
Hmm.
Woo. I need y'all to come in and tell me what you think and what's going on in your mind. I just want some people to react. What's going on? What are you feeling in your body? What are you feeling in your mind? And I just that power of intention. Take a moment today and just even study on that. The power of intention,
Yeah.
the definition of intention, the difference intention makes. And even going back to something Keisha said earlier, sometimes we don't set boundaries. Be intentional about setting boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah. And which is really being intentional about loving yourself, considering yourself
Hmm.
worthy of setting a boundary is the foundation of actually setting a boundary.
Yes. And I can't remember who was on the show, or maybe it was another side conversation. But even the scripture that says, love your neighbor as yourself. A
Hmm.
lot of times that's hard because we don't even love ourselves.
Ourselves, exactly.
So in essence, I am loving my neighbor like I love myself, but I need to bring that love for myself up. And so you got to start with yourself.
You have to. The oxygen mask always goes on you first.
That part.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. Listen, Keisha. Thank you so much. It's so good to
Thank
see you
you.
today.
It's so good to see you too. Thank you.
I
I love
always,
chatting with you.
yes, I was going to say, I always love being in your presence. I always, it's just something that comes alive, and I'm thankful for that. I'm grateful for that today.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful also for you, our family, Making Connections family. We love you and we appreciate your support. We don't take it lightly. We're thankful for every time that you share the video, that you come on and give us your comments, that you come back and say, you know what, that was really good. Because that's what we're here for. That's part of who I am. I love to help other people. I know what I've been through, I know how long I've held on to it, and I know what I've missed. And so I'm intentional about not missing it anymore.
Yes.
And I'm intentional about not being in that side of lack, but I'm in the side of abundance and manifestation. And so I want everybody to come with me. Take your time. Everybody has a journey, but
Yes.
I just want to remind you that that opportunity is there and it's available to all of us. God has no respecter of person. So he's not just going to do it for Keisha or
That's
me.
right.
He can do it for
Yes.
you.
Yes. You better preach.
So Keisha, tell everybody how they can follow you or get in touch with you if they want to work with you, and about your book one more time.
Yes. Well, my book is Intention Command Your Day, 90 Days of Abundance and Manifestation. It is a guided journal. And Aly, I'm going to send you the link to put in the show notes, if that's okay, on how
Sure.
to pre order. Because and in a few weeks it will be available on Amazon, but you can pre-order today, and you can follow me on Facebook. My closed Facebook group is the $100,000 Minute with Keisha Dixon. And if you like what you heard and you feel this urging in your spirit has come alive with hope and possibility of what is possible for you, I invite you to reach out to me at Keisha, Keisha, at A Well Experience. That's AWELLEXPERIENCE.me to set up a free It's My Time call with me. During 30 minutes, we will discover what is indeed possible for you.
Woohoo. Look at me, I'm like writing it down. I already give somebody else a chance, Allie.
Call
No,
me.
but definitely do that. I'm telling you, it is well worth the time. Do it for you. Do it for your family. Do it for your future. You deserve this. And so again, I have to leave. We gotta end. Okay. Keisha, thank you again. I appreciate you. I definitely
Thank you
support
very much.
you. I would definitely put that link in and, encourage everyone to go to that link and pre-order now. Again, we are making connections. We're here every Saturday at 12 noon and every Monday at 2 p.m. And until next time, as always, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a great day, everyone. Bye, Keisha. Love you.
Bye. Love you too.